I'm going to show you the biggest mistake people make on their first Airbnb, and it's not what you think. It's not picking the wrong house, it's not picking the wrong city, it's not bad timing. It's this, putting down $80,000 when you only need to put down $40,000. That extra $40,000, it just sits there doing nothing as equity in your house. And it stops you from buying your second property for years. And let me show you how this works. So here's what mostly happens whenever I talk to most of my new students. Smart people, doctors, engineers, tech workers, they save up a bunch of cash, they're ready to buy their first rental property, and they do what they've always been told to do. Put 20% down on a $400,000 home. That is $80,000, and they think this is a safe move. They think it's a responsible move, the right move, but here's what actually happens. 6 months later, they want to buy a second property, and they can't because all their cash is locked up in house number one. So they wait. They save again, and by the time they have enough money, it's been 2 or 3 years. Meanwhile, I have students who've also done the same exact thing, but they put 10% down. They bought their first property with $40,000 down. And then 6 months later, they'll use another $40,000 that they saved from their first house to buy their second property. The same year, same money, 2 properties instead of just 1. So how do they do it? They use something called a second home loan instead of an investment loan. Here's the difference. Investment loans require 20% down, and that's the rule. Second home loans, you need to put 10% down, half as much. Now you're probably thinking, wait, can I do that? Is that allowed? And the answer is, yeah, you can. Rule 1, the house has to be more than 50 miles away from where you live. Rule 2, you have to actually use it yourself sometimes. So that ends up being about 14 days a year. That's 2 weeks, a couple's retreat, a nice weekend, 1 vacation. And then rule 3, the rest of the year, you can rent it out on Airbnb. That's it. Same house, same income, same everything. You just keep the extra $40,000 in your pocket instead of handing it to the bank. Let me show you the actual math. $400,000 house, 20% down equals $80,000 out of pocket. 10% down equals $40,000 out of pocket. That's $40,000 saved. That becomes your next down payment. 6 months later, not 3 years later. Here's a real world example. I had a student who actually did this named Joe. He had the cash. He could have put 20% down easy. But we walked through the numbers together and I asked him, are you planning to use this house yourself, Joe? He's like, yeah, I want to use this house a couple times myself a year. And I said, well, then why are you using an investment loan? He didn't really have a good answer. He just thought, well, that's what everyone told me I had to do if I want to buy a vacation home. So what we ended up doing was we talked to our lender and they suggested we also switch to a second home loan. Same house, same monthly payment. He just kept an extra $40,000. The monthly payment was slightly higher, but totally justifiable based off the amount of money he was going to save. 6 months later, he actually bought his second property, not because he made more money, not because he got lucky, just because he didn't drop all his cash in deal number 1. It was in a different city, different state, but that property was going to be used for the same exact reason, as a second home that he was going to rent out whenever he wasn't going to use it. And here's what most people get wrong about their first property. Your first property doesn't need to be perfect. It's supposed to teach you. It teaches you how to hire cleaners, how to talk to guests, how to price your nights, how to handle problems from far away, actually run a business. And you can't learn that by waiting. You learn it by doing. The people who put 20% down, they usually stop at one property, not because the deal went bad, but because they feel they stuck all their money in one deal and all that money is gone. They can't move. But the people who put 10% down, they keep going. They buy 2, they buy 3, then 4, and then they'll do cash out refinances and do other strategies to build up even more equity and put more money in their pockets so they can buy more homes. They get better every single time. They learn faster every time. So why don't people actually do this more? Well, honestly, it feels weird. It feels like you're cutting corners. It feels like you're not doing things the right way. But here's the truth. Keeping your cash working for you is the right way. Locking up an extra $40,000 for no reason, that's a mistake. And the bank doesn't care if you put 10% or 20% down. Your guests don't care. The only thing that really changes is how fast you can move. This is especially important for people who are buying high cash flow properties where an extra $200 to $300 per month wouldn't change the cash flow. And look, I'm not here to hype you up. I'm here to show you what actually works. I buy rural properties from far away, far from where I live. I run them remotely. I teach people how to do the same exact thing. No tricks, no shortcuts, just what actually works when you do it for real. If you have cash sitting in the bank and you've been waiting to buy your first rental, stop waiting for perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. Start asking better questions like, how do I keep the most cash available? How do I learn the fastest? How do I buy 2 before I'm 60? If you want help figuring out your specific situation, your market, your numbers, your actual next step, I do one-on-one mentorship calls. Links in the description if you want to start with my free course. I'll walk you through exactly what loan to use, how much to put down, how to structure your first deal so it doesn't trap all of your money. This isn't theory. This is what I do on a daily basis. This is what my students do, and it works. Stop putting down 20% when you don't have to. Keep your cash, buy your second property this year, not in 3 years.